먼저, 표준 예문입니다.
Don't blame it on me. May I have a word with you? Won't you join us for dinner? I can do it in 2 hours, tops. May I assist you with anything? We will keep you in our prayers. He lit a cigarette by force of habit. I have no stomach for violent movies. You can always get me on the phone. Many people talk trash on the internet. Please send my best regards on my behalf. He won the first prize in spite of being injured.
앞서 자동사에서 봤듯이 전치사 오브가 들어간 표현이 무척 까다롭습니다. 여기 타동사의 경우도 미리 살펴 공부하겠습니다.
That suspect stole my wallet. That suspect robbed me of my wallet. I had my wallet robbed by that suspect. I had myself robbed of wallet by that suspect. I ask a favor of you. May I ask you a favor? They suspect her of lying. She reminds me of my mother. He informed me of his decision. I was unable to assure her of my love. He tried to convince me of his innocence. He informed us of his willingness to help. He notified the Russian authorities of the fact. The doctor warned me of the dangers of smoking. You'd better inform the embassy of the current situation. How can I persuade you of my sincerity that I'm sincere? Employees should notify the company of leaves in advance. The speech assured the voters of the senator's continued commitment to healthcare programs. Although I convinced him of my innocence, I think he still has serious doubts about my sanity. Holidays are an excellent time to remind ourselves of who we are, where we come from, and what sort of vision we want for our future. Clear your mind of such notions. I wash my hands of the matter. A thief deprived him of his money. They plundered the town of its gold. The hustler cheated him of his money. The law firm cleared the defendant of a charge. The last goal robbed them of almost certain victory. The new government policy acquitted him of his heavy duty. Many newly invented vaccines freed many patients of COVID-19. He accused me of cheating at cards. You expected too much of her. It lacks 10 cents of being $100. The vote lacked 3 of a majority. He openly accused his opponent of cowardice. The prosecutor accused him of committing a fraud.
전치사구가 1개 들어있는 예문입니다. about 전치사부터 without 전치사까지 계속됩니다. 대부분의 경우 기본 발전심화의 3단계 구분 없이 통합해서 예문을 올렸지만 일부 주요 전치사는 3단계로 구분해서 올린 경우도 들어 있습니다.
Keep your wits about you. I have a beef about that. He hid a pistol about his person. I would rather not tell you about it. You don't know the first thing about it. What's the best thing about the electrical car? There's something hidden about him that I'll like. He lifted his hand above his head. Hung the signboard above the door. He always tries to attempt tasks above his ability. She threw a bag across her shoulder. They faced each other across the dining table. When I saw you across the road, I knew we'd met once before. Put the object after the verb. I wrote my name after Danny's. We named the baby Henry after his grandfather. Take the prescription once after each meal and before going to bed. I raced my dog against his. He warned his brother against driving too fast. The review has prejudiced me against the book. Korea will play football against Japan this Sunday. I want to raise an objection against starting work too early. Sam pushed his feet against the wall, making his chair slide across the room. You have to well balance the advantages of living in a big city against the disadvantages. He rubbed his fingers slowly along the cheek. He rubbed the back of his hand against his mouth. I dropped my wallet somewhere along the trip. The young man led Mark along the lean corridor. The USA joins Canada along an immense borderline. There's no way around it. She wore a belt around her waist. She rolled a candy around her tongue. She guided tourists around the Piccadilly Circus in London. She wrapped a blanket around her sleeping baby. There always goes a malicious rumor around him. To get to point B from point A, you will have to go half around the pond.
as 기본 예문입니다.
Please read $500 as 500 won. I prize a ring as a keepsake. I recall you as a naughty boy. I spotted him as an American. She adopted a girl as her heir. They looked upon him as a fool. I can't picture myself as a father. He used Wood's chip as kindling. They accused him as a murderer. I will leave it as an open question. He dismisses the proposal as trivial. I regard his theory as of little value. She has a great ability as an actress. She shows a lot of promise as a writer. She won worldwide repute as a singer. Would you describe her as reserved? Do you really think of me as a friend? They repute her as an enchanting girl. Don't interpret his silence as consent. The media portrays the young as lazy. Who preceded Barack Obama as president? They tagged him as a troublemaker. The professor praised my paper as highly original. Urban dwellers often accept noise as part of city life. The ministry official described the report as groundless.
as 발전 예문입니다.
We need to accept things as they are. The police accused her as an accomplice. The bank wrote off a debt as irrecoverable. I regard creativity both as a gift and as a skill. We cannot write off this incident as mere bad luck. He establishes himself as a pivotal figure in politics. He commands a great deal of respect as a surgeon. I don't regard the matter as clarified by any means. You can translate this statement as an admission of guilt. Police have ruled out robbery as a motive for the killing. Nobody reckons him as a role model as he's too aggressive. Police say they're treating it as a case of attempted murder.
as 심화 단계 예문입니다.
We abuse land as we regard it as a commodity belonging to us. The minority party has branded the major party as untrustworthy. The board of directors picked Smith as the man to run the company. The governor continued his term as police officer for 2 more years. He preached economy as the best means of protecting the environment. Evans has issued a report that condemned sexism as a moral and social evil. All the people who know her describe her as having a gorgeous personality. Collins Dictionary defines a workaholic as a person obsessively addicted to work. David is almost certain to succeed him as chairman as of January 1st of next year. Students use the death of political activists as a rallying point for anti-government protests. The man who views the world at 50 the same as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years of life. Have a go at it. Open your book at page 20. He popped a question at her. The robber waved a knife at us. I put the woman down at 30. He made a grade at the 5th trial. What paper do you get at home? They estimated the crowd at 500. He purchased a book at $10. The plane will stop 1 hour at Chicago. You're putting every single one of us at risk. He assessed my house at $5 million. The antique dealer has dated the vase at $1,730. The man drew a gun at them and pulled the trigger. We can't afford to pay the rent at the rate of $300 a month. Young protesters threw eggs and empty bottles at the police, who replied with tear gas. Tom put his family before his career. Please keep in mind to give a good wash before eating it. She seems to have every chance of success as an actress before her. Police questioned the man for several hours before letting him go. He is the third behind me. He left a trail of footprint behind him. He does something behind people's backs. Put the candle beyond the children's reach. I know nothing beyond a few random facts. We continued the meeting beyond midnight. I had gone to stops beyond my destination. Few jockeys continued race riding beyond the age 40. I don't know anything about him beyond what I've told you. Multiply 5 by 8. Divide 20 by 5. I know her by her walk. What do you mean by that? He pulled his son by the ear. He caught me by the sleeves. He has one child by his ex-wife. Don't judge a book by its cover. We should never judge by appearance. Can I reach her by mobile phone? He missed the bus by 2 minutes. They upped the price by 5%. He downed a glass of beer. The boxer downed his opponent in the 3rd round. I haven't got it by me at the moment. She outlived her husband by 10 years. They will have reached Ho Chi Minh by the same time tomorrow. He disappointed them by falling short of their expectations. The developer improved the land by putting in roads and electricity. We tried to accelerate the reaction process by heating the chemicals.
이번에는 사용빈도가 아주 높은 전치사포의 기본 예문입니다.
Say hello for me. I'll get you for that. Take my word for that. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the ride. Thank you for having me tonight. This book sells for $30. He crushed nuts for oil. I'll take the blame for it. What do you take me for? I feel sorry for my mishaps. You'll feel much better for it. I rang the bell for the maid. Could you join us for dinner? I stayed in Paris for the summer. I've got mixed feelings for her. He incurred much blame for it. He arranged a table for supper. I meant my son for an architect. I meant my son should be an architect. I meant my son to be an architect. I mistook the cloud for an island. He ransacked Sale for the book. I feel sorry for not being on time. I feel sorry for your inconvenience. Let's put the furniture for auction. He meant those words for all of us. She examined the teapot for flaws. Let's flip a coin for it. Heads or tails? Let's flip a coin. Head, you're mine. Tails, I'm yours. He looked at me for an explanation. Let's raise our glass for Mr. Marshall. You should have respect for the aged. I prize him for his good ethical sense. They set their attack for the midnight. The food will last them for 3 days. I applaud you for your quick decision. We gave up the plan for lack of funds. I have a craving for chocolate tonight. She nagged his husband for a new car. He broke the record for the high jump. She asked me for a pen to write with. Do you have any plans for this evening? They abandoned the plan for another one. She blamed herself for lack of foresight. Please push the button for the 5th floor. He refused my offer for no good reason. He rebuked the workers for carelessness. He arranged a piece of sonata for piano. Pop music has no appeal for me. I have a dislike for Korean dishes. He doesn't have the stuff for that kind of work. He faulted his son for not doing his duty. The prosecutor pushed him for an answer. You might ask that policeman for direction. Many people criticize us for going on strike. She measured her client for her new clothes. He labeled his trunk for JF Kennedy Airport. The people pressed the king for the reform. You'll have to wait an hour for the next bus. His boss denounced him for neglect of duty. We had hot dogs for lunch today. Did you mean that phrase for a compliment? The ability to read opened up a new world for him. I meant this iPhone for John, but I'll give it to you. How much will you charge me for repairing this car? The police searched the town for the suspected killer.
전치사포의 발전 예문과 심화 예문입니다.
I admired him for having the courage to tell the truth. We still have one position open for an English teacher. Taste the soup for salt and add a little more if it needs it. Congress appropriated $33 million for anti-drug campaigns. I attach a copy of spreadsheet with this email for your record. If a man pays back evil for good, evil will never leave his house. She celebrates the surrounding mountains for their size and beauty. Writers are always searching their memories for more perfect words. Everyone in the company takes it for granted that he is a gentleman. She thanks her parents for keeping her in school and pushing her to study. Hemophiliacs are seeking compensation for being given contaminated blood. An underground organization has claimed responsibility for the bomb explosion.
모듈 29번 파트 1은 여기까지입니다. 여러분 수고 많이 하셨습니다.